Hello everyone, right now I'm going to be showing a little bit of a work in progress of what is going to be going in the very next update. I just added a bunch of arcade games which have control issues, and we're talking games like 720 Degrees, Atari Mini Golf, Caliber 50, Forgotten Worlds, Guerrilla War, Heavy Barrel, Ikari Warriors 2, 3, Major Havoc, Midnight Resistance, SAR Search and Rescue, Time Soldiers, Touchdown Fever, and then I threw an Afterburn for NES and Cybots as well, just for a little show piece cases. But we're going to go into actually our directory on my drive right now. And where the saves typically go, they're set to go to right here. I'm actually going to delete all the configurations for all the arcade games that I currently have, so that it's doing a from scratch, and it's going to be all entirely controlled by the core. Now I'm going to actually unmount this drive and boot up the system. And we're going to play some games that have been previously very, very difficult and troublesome and pesky to even run. So let's get this connected. I just updated the MAME 2003 Xtreme core, and you're going to see some of the progress right here now. Get the system booted up. We'll see the Heshi logo in a moment here. Again, there are quite a few games that have the controls mapped, coincidentally enough, on a keyboard, but they're not on the controller, and this makes things a little bit troublesome as far as running these on the Mini Classics with a controller. Because even back in the day, like 1990s, I used to run all these on a keyboard before I got into like a USB controller and such. We're going to go through a few of these right now, and we're going to go all the way out because I have these on the main user interface. I could have probably flipped from the bottom to the top, but you can see I have roughly 200 games here. And obviously Ikari Warriors is a big one, a notable one. And again, I deleted all configurations. This is entirely controlled by the core right now. And I give a personal tremendous thanks to Grant2258 for helping out with this implementation. It was just something I really wanted to do for a while. And Mavis99 and myself talked about this too. He was doing it via configuration files. I'm like, I'd rather just hard code this completely. So it's basically going to the game right now and play for a moment here. And I'll show you what the controls would typically be like for this specific game. And there are a few gems that are mixed right now that might be games that you've never played before. Obviously, all of you have probably played Ikari Warriors. Yeah, you can move up, down, left, and right. But what if you want to rotate your character? Now you can actually use Super Nintendo controller style controls by using L1R. Look at that. I didn't have to do anything. It is all auto-mapped now with the updated MAME 2003 Xtreme core, which I'm going to try to get out fairly soon because I'm doing some Amiga stuff as well. This is way faster than the NES version. The NES version is like so slow and plotted compared to this, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. But this is so sweet here. Let's see if we can even get anywhere for a moment here. I can't even get past this part. I'll just throw a grenade at this part. There we go. That should take care of that. There we go. Yeah, me and my friend used to play this and Bubble Bobble almost relentlessly back in the day on the original NES, and there's that code to continue in Ikari Warriors on NES. It was something like BAAB or BBABBA. I forget, it's been so long since I've never really do it. But in comparison and contrast to this, it's such a slower game. I might actually load the game just for reference or to compare and to this version. Let's try doing it real quick. We'll go a little bit off tangent here as the one more game philosophy would dictate here. Media, Dummy, NES, and we'll go right to the original Ikari Warriors on NES, and we'll do a little bit of comparison of the speed right now. Ikari Warriors should be in here. Okay, Ikari, where are ya? Just past it. There we go, Ikari Warriors, and usually when they do like a Revolution A or B and such, it's usually to fix a bug, like a redump or such, okay? And we'll load this with FCMM. There we go, the original FCMM. That and Dystopia are probably my two go-tos, with Quick NES being right after that. And obviously, the Dystopia is the only one that can really play Micro Machines. Okay, let's try this out. I really don't remember the continue code offhand, it's been so long. But you can see there's a flicker in this, but SNK still did a tremendous job porting this to the home consoles. And I played the hell out of this game back in the day. Yep, definitely quite a bit slower. I remember this taking like a good hour and a half to beat. It was just such a long game. You look in the Nintendo Power where it shows the map of the stages, it really takes you quite a bit of time to get through them. Yeah, definitely a bit slower, but still a fun game. I like the fact that we actually have follow-ups to Ikari Warriors 2 as well as Ikari Warriors 3. Ikari Warriors 2 actually like many of the 1990s horror movies like Hellraiser, Leprechaun, and such, it went into outer space completely. So let's see if we have Ikari Warriors 2 on here. Right there, Victory Road. They took it up into outer space. And this is another game that has control issues, so we'll do this for a moment here. But yes, Ikari Warriors is accounted for. And you might have seen in my last video I was doing Zybots, so I'm going to show you Zybots too. Okay, let's see if the controls are working for this now. Okay. And we got digital speech too, which is awesome. Yes, the R and L are working perfectly. Very, very cool. What I do like is that Ikari Warriors 1 and 2, they have pretty much the same tone, except one is in Earth and one is in outer space. The third one takes on a whole different tone, kind of like Downtown, the arcade game. You'll see what I mean in a moment once I load that, but yes, we can actually do the L and R in here, which is working flawlessly. Very, very cool indeed. And like I said, many of you know about Ikari Warriors and some of the other games I'm going to show, but I'm going to show you a game that you might not be aware of that is a nice, nice game to check out. And I'm also a big fan of merch, but you're not going to need this tweak for merch. Let's do Ikari Warriors 3, and it is less of a shoot-em-up run-and-gun game, and it's more of like a brawler now. So let's do Ikari Warriors 3. And we'll do a few more games, and like I said, some people requested games like Forgotten Worlds, so that's implemented as well. And you're going to be able to just use L and R on that too, which is awesome. So let's see how this Ikari Warriors 3 plays out. I'm going to do a retest on Zybots to make sure the controls are on there. Because again, you're actually seeing me test some of these for the very first time since I did the changes to MAME 2003 Xtreme and did a compilation of it. Ikari Warriors 3. Now I was going to make these characters look like William Dafoe from Deer Hunter or Rambo from First Blood. Yes, we could use L and R here. Awesome. This is a game that is lesser known to many, but it's still very, very cool. If you like this game, you also like the game called Downtown. Very, very cool soundtrack. The other game that I'm going to show you next actually has a really cool soundtrack too. I'll load it probably next, the Caliber 50 game. But yes, this game, even though it says Ikari Warriors 3, I'm thinking I'm playing like Rambo 3. It's so funny. It's also pretty violent. You can see a little bit of gore going on here. So I'm going to have to definitely come back to this one. I want to see exactly what this entire game entails. That's very cool. Oh, definitely cool. What if I have like a jump button if I push punch and kick? Now it doesn't seem I do, but these kicks are funny. Look at how they just literally fly like Fist of the North Star style from Mega Drive. And if you ever play the Japanese version of Fist of the North Star, the enemies actually blow up into bloody chunks in the Japan version, but the United States version, they actually just fly off the screen. So they actually censored that. But yes, this game, Ikari Warriors, aka Rambo 3, as I call it, is working flawlessly. While we're here, we'll do a Forgotten Worlds, which is a game I really, really love, and that should hopefully work now with these controls. Forgotten Worlds. And yes, this is one of the more difficult ones to get set up because of the way the controller configuration is. But on the Genesis version, it is nice because you have that button where you can change it. And here's another little tidbit trick. If you want to have infinity lives on the Sega Genesis version, simply start a game on player 2 and just let the character sit there. And just insert more coins or restart the game anytime the character dies. And you can do basically infinity continues on the entire game. Otherwise, you're going to be done in one pretty much set of lives. But yes, we're going to move left, right, up, and down here. And then we're going to try and see if we can do L and R. Yes, we can rotate. We have rotation, guys and gals. So thanks for the suggestion, and I'm glad that Forgotten Worlds is going to be fixed with this update too. This music never gets old. I played the Mega Drive version of this like so many countless times over the years. And Capcom is just so awesome with these type of games. Contra with jetpacks. If you like this game, try out Scat on, of course, the original Nintendo made by Natsumi. Fantastic game as well. If you like this, it is like a Contra with a jetpack scheme going on. You can earn money and go to shops and buy weapons, but I usually typically save my money and try to get some of the cooler weapons later on. But yes, Infinity Continues is a very, very good trick if you're playing the Mega Drive version, where you simply just have your second player active. Otherwise, like right there where I push continue, my game would have been over. Let's go back to the main user interface and we'll do another quick test on Zybots. But let me show you the other game. Since I'm going to jump around here, I'm going to show you the other game that has a really cool soundtrack. This is probably the least known of all the games I'm going to be showcasing today. But you're probably going to want to go play it right now. And again, it'll be readily playable with the next update just by simply having at least a Super Nintendo style controller, and L and R will work on it. Remember, if you have like the Mega Drive Mini, you can simply plug in your PlayStation Classic controller. And if you're on the SNES or NES Classics, use your Super Nintendo controller or even like a Logitech, F350, etc. I mean, you can use about any controller as long as that is at least a perimeter of initially Super Nintendo style controls. But listen to this very, very cool soundtrack here. Very, very well done game, and just a veritable gem and a diamond in the rough here. Awesome game. Love this guitar work here. Really gets me pumped. And yes, L and R are working. I'm rotating perfectly here. And again, they're making every character look like it's somebody from Deer Hunter. Either William Dafoe, you know, or Christopher Walken. Sometimes Robert De Niro. I mean, the SNK, I'm saying the MSX Ikari Warriors looks like they have Robert De Niro and William Dafoe. And look at this nice thing. You can get in the vehicle here, kind of like in Ikari Warriors. And you have the rotation controls here as well, which is awesome. But yeah, Caliber 50 is a fantastic game, lesser known than some of the other ones that I'm showcasing. And we'll do this for a moment here. Very, very cool. I love the gimmick of this plane, and you're actually able to control, like, rotary-style controls here. I'm using L and R to do this controls. Very, very cool. And we'll do maybe a couple more games that are affected by the control schemes that are fixed up. I'm hoping to get more games fixed up, like for light gun games too, like Terminator, Revolution X, and so on, so you can start those games automatically too. Okay. Very, very cool game indeed. Kind of reminds me of Cannon Fodder, the way the graphic overhaul scheme is here. A little bit of Snake's Revenge. I remember playing Snake's Revenge and just really loving that game. Oh, don't shoot the turtles. They might need to have some mutagen someday and become Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. So we don't want to mess up their future. We don't know what time frame this game actually took place. Okay. And I always liked that the original Splinter in the movies was actually the same guy who was also in the Conan the Barbarian movies. Kind of was like a mentor to Conan, as well as in the original Remo Williams Adventure Begins or Continues movies, which are awesome. And this game here is not affected by the controls, but it is a game that I highly recommend you play anyway. It's called Bloody Wolf. And this is also on TurboGrafx 16. It's one of the games that is inexplicably missing from the TurboGrafx 16 lineup that is coming out. It's called Bloody Wolf, and there's another name for it. An alternative name for it, too. Let's try this out for a moment. Okay. Okay, and it looks like the guy from Rambo. Go figure. But yes, this is a fantastic game, and you actually do not need to have any special controls. I'm doing all the controls strictly with my controller, but it's always been one of my favorite go-to TurboGrafx 16 games, and this is the arcade version of it. Very, very cool indeed. I love all these type of games. Merce is another one that I'm going to have to showcase in a future video. I'm getting my butt whooped here. Definitely a little bit more violent than the TurboGrafx 16 version, but playing quite nicely here. And, okay. So we got Caliber 50 in this game, or two that I would highly recommend. And look, this guy looks just like Terminator. What's going on here? Kind of like in Revenge of Shinobi, where we have a Terminator-style boss, too. Oh, I got that. Yeah, he definitely looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator right there. I need to practice here, because I'm getting my butt whooped. Okay, we'll try another game here. We'll go back to the Zybots, check that out. But again, this game I just played, Bloody Wolf, is not affected by the control setup. It's just a game that I decided I'd like to showcase to you guys and gals. And let's go down the list here and see what else we have that needs showcase. We have, what do we have here? Time Soldiers is definitely another one, but I'm going to do Zybots first, before I forget to do that. Zybots. And this game, ironically enough, had a version that was supposed to be on the original Nintendo, but they canceled it. But it's still interesting to play. It's kind of a comparison. Again, I'm going to do the controls from left to right here. See what happens here. Very upbeat game here. Let's see if the L and R work. Yep, they're working. So MAME 2003 Xtreme is controlling the entire configuration here. Love this game, though. Very, very cool. Always been his one of my top 10 go-to arcade games. I used to play the hell out of this in games like Kadash, Marble Madness, and so on. I'm not going to take the shortcut this time. Let's just go this way. Okay. Or should we say the secret door. Make sure I push the right button this time. Okay. Very, very cool. I would like playing these games where I actually legitimately see how far I can get before I truly run out of energy. You can see your energy is at 91 up at the top left, and you really got to conserve it. So I've really tried to do this as far as I can before I actually have to insert more coins. It makes it more fun, trying to do it legitimately. Not all arcade games are easily beatable, even if you have quarters, because I did a showcase of me beating Willow for arcade, Capcom game, from beginning to end, and that was a tremendously difficult game, where if you die, you actually get set back quite a bit, so it's not a simple, like, just insert coins and beat type of game. Very, very cool. But Zybots is working great, and let's try an NES game after we do another stage or two of this. And our energy's at 98 there. We can slow the energy loss. We can get a key. There we go, for a shortcut. Yes, you can keep getting upgrades here. And some of the other Atari aka Tengen games have upgrade ability too. And for those of you who don't know the story behind Tengen, Tengen is actually basically an alternative branch of Atari, because Nintendo had some stipulations, whereas you can only have like 4 games per year. And you had to pay $10 for Nintendo to manufacture your cartridges if you were in the United States and such, but not in Japan, ironically enough. And some companies didn't want to have to pay this $10 per cartridge fee, so Atari circumvented the technology of Nintendo by actually basically going to court, or I should say the trademark office, and getting the information on how the whole circumvention is. And they basically manipulated, and later on were taken to court by Nintendo, and they worked out an agreement after that. So you had this games that were unlicensed, which eventually went on to be Nintendo Seal of Approval games, like Gauntlet was one of the first ones like that. So yes, Atari went from basically circumventing the technology to bypass that $10 surcharge for Nintendo to manufacture the cartridges, all the way up until actually having an agreement with Nintendo and having the Nintendo Seal quality approval. Very, very cool. Now we're going to compare to the Nintendo version real quick and see what that's like. But Zybots, I'd highly, highly recommend playing Zybots. Fun, fun game. Now we're going to try the NES version, see what that's like. Should be down my list here a bit. Go to the NES folder. And it's very fun trying out some of the games that are arcade versions than the Nintendo versions. Like here we have Afterburner, there's Fantasy Zone, there are a few others, even Shinobi. But you play these and compare for yourself, but just you're going to see a tremendous difference between Zybots and Nintendo. And this is actually a prototype because it was never actually released. I would have loved to see it released though. And it's also a game, it's interesting, you usually hold the button down and you turn by holding the button down. Okay, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. And you can see there's a map there. Obviously, I'm going to need this key. Kind of reminds me of playing Friday the 13th, which is obviously a very, very cool game, too. Very, very well designed for NES, because no 1-2 games are the same. It's playing a little bit like Gauntlet here, where it's actually doing, like, collect keys to open doors type of scenario. Okay. Yes, this is playing quite a bit differently than the arcade version. It reminds me more of like a 3D Gauntlet, the way this is handling. Okay, we should be able to get to some enemies here. But yes, I mean, if this was really out on the original Nintendo, I would have more than likely loved it and played it. Okay, we should have at least 1 or 2 more games to showcase with the control scheme, but I'm probably going to be coming back to both this and Zybots and seeing how far I can get through both of them, comparing the differences here. And like I said, there's kind of a scrolling issue on some Nintendo games, and that is why like the arcade version of Afterburner is far, far superior to the NES version. Let me show you as a reference real quick. I'll play the Nintendo version. It doesn't have proper scaling. Even the Genesis Mega Drive version has way, way better scaling, so we'll see that as a comparison right here. Okay, Afterburner, made by Tengen here. See how this plays. And it's going to look so, so different in the arcade or Mega Drive version because of the scaling issues. And Space Harrier is another 3D game that has scaling issues too. Let's watch how the enemies are when they come on the screen. See, the scaling is just way off kilter here, and it's very, very disorienting. But still pretty interesting for what it is. But try playing this, and then playing the Mega Drive version, there's a tremendous difference. Or even the arcade version. I'll have to showcase that in the next video, but you can see this is definitely a scaling issue completely. Even Top Gun on the original NES has way, way better scaling than this, considering. And a very, very funny thing about the original Top Gun is one of my friends was trying to do like kind of a time trial thing where he could beat the game. And he had trouble beating Top Gun. I figured out a little exploit when I was playing around with the game, wherein as long as the enemies on the screen cannot see you, they can't hurt you. So you can literally go through the entire game only having to worry about refueling and such by simply avoiding the enemies. I mean, just do not look at them. If you're like in the sky and the enemies on the ground are shooting at you, don't look at them and they can't hurt you. Okay, we're going to do Time Soldiers, and this will probably be our final game for this video right here. And Time Soldiers is yet another classic. I love any game pretty much that goes through time travel. I love movies that deal with time travel and TV shows that deal with time travel. I'm like in all the Butterfly, effect movies, and I always talk about the butterfly mod effect where you can make one change and it can actually work in reverse or forward positively thinking as far as what transpires. But let's do this real quick and see how this works out. And as far as like time travel games, even the bad time travel games like Time Commando on the original PlayStation 1 or PC, I had a tremendous fun time playing just to see what was next. I kind of want to see what kind of time periods they went to, what kind of weapons they use. Here we have the World Wars. And yes, O and R are working perfectly here, and this is not an easy game. I mean, you're going to be taken out very, very fast. You see at the very top there, Primitive Age. And there's a very, very nice Neo Geo game, that Ninja Commando, where you time travel, and that is such a great game to play if you want to play a game that's like this with time travel. But yes, this is very, very fast-paced for another High Octane, and you're probably going to be taken out very, very fast there, unless you really kind of just watch the enemies around it there. And you can get some upgradable weapons and such. I believe there's like Turbo Fire, which I should be able to get if I play up a little bit higher. But I'm getting my butt whooped right now. Let's try to at least get up to the Turbo Fire. Oh, wow. Game's almost over already. True arcade fashion there. Insert more coins. You always have them coins sitting right there on the cabinet because you don't want to have to reach in your pocket and have a chance to get time running out. I need some Turbo Fire mode activate. I almost welcome the slow-paced nature of Ikari Warriors because this is way faster. Let's try to actually pay attention to the enemy fire there. Okay, there we go. Turbo Fire. This should help me get to this part a little bit easier. There we go. Now it's going to be a little bit easier to manage. Way cooler. Definitely need kind of like a je sais quoi of having this on permanently. This would be the equivalent of having the S-spread in Contra right now. It sounds like music I've heard in another game, movie, or TV show or such. Oh, I still recognize this music from something else. See if I can get this thing out without dying. Just understand the pattern here. I like that it actually isn't spreading the entire screen, so I'm getting a little bit lucky with that. There we go. Very, very cool. And then tune of one more game. Maybe I'll have to do one more game after this. I'm hoping this unlimited fire just keeps going until I actually... Ah, there we go. I lost the life, so... Oh, what is this? Let's see what this thing up here does. Let's check it out. There we go. Warp Scanner. And Primitive Age. There we go. We're doing a little bit of time travel there. Awesome. Yep. Very, very interesting game here. And we actually are taking on cavemen that are throwing rocks at me or whatever you're throwing. It's definitely not an easy game, but definitely getting a kick out of this game. You can see that I'm getting my butt whooped so bad here. It's like playing like Evo for Super Nintendo, which is one of the most obscure and rare games for the system. And quite expensive, but playing the shmup version of it. Okay, we're going to go back to the main user interface and see if we have any more games to showcase. As in the tradition of the one more game. See if we have any more games that have control issues. I believe Guerrilla War is another one like that I added. Let's try it for a brief moment here. Should be on my list. Major Havoc is one too. And when I played the Atari collection on my PS4, Major Havoc was one of the games that I actually had to do a trophy for, an achievement or such. We do Guerrilla War, and we also have Heavy Barrel. I mean, there's so many great overhead shmup games running gunners. And this should have the L and R controls as well. Let's check it out and see if we do. And it looked like Sean Connery on the main screen there. Let's see if we have an O and R control here. But yet another Ikari Warriors style game. Yep, we have an O and R here too. So yes, it is fixing quite a few games. I'd say it could be fixing at least 100 plus games with this addition here. And these controls were all previously only on the keyboard. Now they're all mapped automatically to the controller. I'm very, very happy about this. There we go, grenades. And remember, if you're playing a game like this, you want a little bit of an extra edge. Say like I want more grenades, I can go in the cheats right here. I can go to Nibble Cheats and I can do infinity grenades, just like that. Now I can just throw the grenades all I want and have a little bit of fun there. Very, very cool. Always nice to have infinity grenades. Especially if you have like a special weapon, you can do the cheat for infinity special weapon too. I think I shot a hostage. We don't want to do that. Okay, so yeah, the infinity grenades are going to be a nice little thing if you previously played the game. I kind of don't really use cheats until I play the game and establish that I can beat the game. Like the original Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. I like using the Mega Jump codes after I beat the game just because it's fun to be able to jump super high with Mega Man. But hope you enjoyed the video, guys and gals. There'll be more to come and the update will be out fairly soon.